Hello everyone, welcome back to Happy Yaki. Today we are going to be looking at a very simple recipe. It is the foundation of so many of your lunches coming up, and it's a go-to recipe for me when I do retreats and I want something that's really full of fibre, full of flavour, full of nutrients. It is essentially my version of a coleslaw. So I call it HapiSlaw. This, I'm going to give you the really most basic recipe that we've got. And then I am going to give you some optional extras, which is what I like to do. And this is, again, a recipe that you can totally personalize. It's all down to your taste. But yeah, let's start at the start. So I have set up, I've got my ingredients ready. You're going to need a box grater for grating your carrots. I like to use this little bad boy because it is slightly serrated here, so it gives it a nice texture when you're doing your red cabbage. Another alternative is using a mandolin, but please be careful of those fingers. And another alternative is using a food processor and doing it in here. And the attachment just goes at the top and you whiz it round and it takes seconds. So if you're doing them larger quantity for more people over more days, or like if you were doing catering for 10 plus people, then this is a game changer. It's brilliant. I've got the Ninja. There are many other variations on the market. Right, so let's start. So first things first, these outer edges of your red cabbage, remove as few as possible because that's where all the nutrients are held. Well, not all of them, but a main portion of the nutrients are held in the outside outside layers, because that's where the sun hits. And so that is where the best bits are intensified. So I've got my bowl set up. I'm going to bring that over here. And then I am going to remove this white stalk because you don't really want much of that in there. And for this recipe, this will make 4 portions. And you will want 200 grams of red cabbage, which is approximately, on a size of that, it's about a quarter. But please don't be too fussy with the measurements. This is just, a guideline. Right. So first things first, just going to do this and grate this into our bowl. In fact, I'm going to pop that on there. We've got our lovely red cabbage going in here. Now, red cabbage is just absolutely great. I mean, I love a white cabbage as well, and you can mix it up if you want to, but I stick to the red because A, I really love the colour, and B, I love the flavour of a red cabbage. Although, let's all be honest, it ain't red, it's purple. So let me just finish up on this. This is such a quick recipe, and believe me, it will be still delicious and still nice and fresh in 2 or 3 days' time. When you do get to the very end of the cabbage and you're just a bit wary of using something like this peeler, you can just use your knife, a nice sharp knife, and it will just be a bit easier than trying to get these last little bits with this. So I think I'm going to do that now. Just make sure you get all of those lovely bits off. And there might be a few little bits that fall off. So just get it as fine as you can. The other thing with these serrated peelers is that they are really serrated. So you do get a lovely, I don't know whether you'll be able to see it, just to get a lovely texture with the cabbage. And for food is very much, particularly in salads, is about texture. You want all those lovely different textures to bring the salad to life. So we don't do boring salads at Happy Aki. So nearly there. I'm just rotating this last little bit so it's got a nice steady bottom and doesn't flip out at any time, and it makes it much easier to slice nice and fine. So there we have it. That will now go into there with the rest of it. Okay. There we go. Right. Bear with me. Next up, we have got 1 carrot. Now, I bought organic. You can just use regular. It all depends on what's available to you and budget, etc. I find that actually as an organic, carrots aren't that much more than regular. So it's always worth having a look at the price difference. I noticed the other day that actually a cucumber, an organic cucumber, was only 20p more than a regular. So we went for that instead. But I know obviously it's not always possible to do so. But yeah, 1 sort of medium-sized carrot. Get your box grater on a thick grate. Just quickly get that grated and into your bowl. Mind your fingers at the end. Doesn't matter if there's a little chunk that goes in. So there we go. Again, that just goes straight into your bowl. Get anything from the inside that you can. You don't want any waste. And get anything off the chopping board that you can as well. There we go. Right, that's in. So now, I like to add a herb. My go-to choice is flat leaf parsley. So for this quantity, I'd probably put in that much. So we have got our parsley. So we'll roll it up in a little ball and then chop it nice and fine. It's just such an easy recipe, and you get such a diverse amount of flavour and nutrients in there. It's all about diversity. Again, that goes straight into your bowl. There we go. Okay, next up, we're going to put some apple cider vinegar, olive oil, and we're going to season really simply with salt and pepper. Then I'm going to add a few more bits in because that's what I like to do. But this, so the red cabbage, carrot, parsley, olive oil, vinegar, salt and pepper, that's your basic. So here we go. We've got extra virgin olive oil, which is out the top drawer in terms of what you want to be using. So just enough to sort of coat everything. Not too heavy. You don't want to drown it. Maybe a teaspoon, maybe a little bit more than a teaspoon. Then we've got our vinegar. Right, vinegar going in. Half a tablespoon. Salt and pepper, sea salt. Please do excuse my washing machine going off in the background. Like I said, this is a home kitchen. This is the reality. So we've got some salt. A couple of little pinches. Some pepper. Give it a wee mix up. There we go. So now we have really, really simple, very basic, but very delicious HapiSlaw. Now, I want to develop that a little bit more because there are certain spices, herbs that you can put in there. You can add in a bit of sweetness with some apple. I really like that, so I am going to put in a bit of apple. Just chop a little chunk off for that quantity, and then in half again. And I'm just going to nicely finely chop the apple just into little slivers like that. I like it quite fine in the chop, so, or you could do it in little chunks, or you could grate it. That's entirely up to you. But I definitely love that added bit of sweetness in the slaw. And again, it's just another load of nutrients to keep that gut nice and happy. Right, straight in to the bowl, and again. Now there's other variations that I do sometimes add in. So I really like fennel, and I love pomegranate in there as well, but I'm not going to open a whole pomegranate just for that. I also really like fennel seeds, so I just give it a little scattering of fennel seeds. Cumin, another one. Get it in. Just a little sprinkling. And then that's it. You've got a beautiful base to your salad, really diverse, full of flavour, loads of fibre, tidy, really good.